All right, Husky talk. Let's get into it.
Well, it's technically Husky Huddle,
Oh,
unfortunately.
Husky Huddle. See, I Husky Huddle. That's right. Husky talk, Husky Huddle. You're
I
the
know
host of Husky Talk.
there's
You're the
so many
host
of
of
them.
Husky Talk. There's too many.
There's so many
Husky
of them we
Huddle.
can't keep track. We can't keep track
Husky
of them all.
Huddle. Here we go.
Yes, Husky Huddle. Husky Huddle. We're very excited. Big game of the week. I am attending. I am going with one Laban Marsh.
Oh, Laban's
And
going with you. Nice.
yeah, and I'm going to meet up with Burton. So
Burton will be in the house.
his brother Joe. His brother Joe is going. So that will definitely be a fun time. I am excited, very excited for that.
Wow. So
they got a suite at Syracuse.
okay.
I'm going up with my father, and Laban is driving from Erie to go. And so it's going to be a blast.
How far is it from Erie to there? How far is it from Erie?
About 4 hours. It's about 4 hours. But his wife has to fly. His wife is going to Puerto Rico.
Okay.
And then he's dropping his wife off at the airport, and then he is coming right to Syracuse.
That should be fun.
So we'll probably tailgate. I just gotta check with Mike and see what they do, see how they do it. And I think it'll be a blast.
There's
it's just the game, obviously, that's concerning.
What's the latest update as far as QB wise?
I think Evers going to be out. I think Evers is going to be out for sure. Yeah.
This is the third time he's been out in the season.
Yeah, I know. That's why I know. That's why I said, like, it's not everything that's going on with him. It's just an issue. He can't stay healthy. He can't stay on the field. And when he's played Oh, I got the light too. He's played technically.
Now.
Yeah, no, I just got a cigarette. He's played more games than Joe, but his numbers, the production, when you're talking 5 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, that's just that's not college football numbers. I mean, high school quarterbacks can do that,
right?
So that's why it's like I think Joe gives them a better chance to win, especially with the passing game, because they're going to need to throw the ball. And again, I think it's a sin that Skylar Bell has only 38 catches on the year. That's our leading receiver.
38, huh?
38 when he's a guy that could easily have like 60. That was my only issue, is that he's a guy that could have 60 and really set himself apart. And that's why I think they're worried about him entering the portal, because if he enters the portal, then they have no passing game. So, I mean, that's the biggest issue. Because I mean, running, like, they have 2,000 yards rushing. We talked about that. Oh, wow. I just saw breaking news. It has nothing to do with anything, but the Giants cut Daniel Jones. Did you know that?
Wow. No, I did not.
Huh.
Wow.
I was just going to look at the ESPN, the football schedule and the Uconn game just to get stats. And it said breaking news, Giants cut Daniel Jones. I think maybe it was
That
because
is
of
as
the
extreme as it gets.
I mean,
Shocker.
could it have been he did an interview yesterday where it wasn't, he wasn't disrespectful or anything, but you could tell he was like peeved. He said he didn't agree with the decision.
Yeah, I would agree with
And
that.
well, yeah, I mean, he got benched. I mean, it happens. It's part of life.
All right.
Um,
What the fuck do you
but
want him to say? What do you think he's going to say? Oh, this is great. I enjoy this. I think
yeah,
people are naive to think that. Like, I mean, how do you feel about getting benched? Oh, I feel great.
yeah, I think it's best for the team.
Whatever's best for the team. Don't even ask me. I would be like, don't even ask me that stupid question. Like, don't even ask me that dumb question. That's how about that. Like I don't. Obviously, I don't feel good. Okay.
Well, they
Like,
have
don't even
nothing
bring it.
around him. They have nothing around him.
And you know what? I don't have
Neighbor,
a problem with it. Them benching him, and I don't have a problem with them. They want to cut him. I just think they're doing it because they are all about to get fired.
see, that's the
what
other
I like.
thing. They're saying that they're not going to get fired.
Who?
They're saying that, well, the pundits, which is like Adam Schefter and whatnot, were saying that Dayball and Joe Shane are going to stay for 2025. They're going to get like one more shot. And what the hell are you doing?
What's that?
What are you doing?
I was just putting some paper in my printer.
Oh, okay. No, they said that Dayball was going to get another shot in
Oh, sorry,
2025.
my camera. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
So,
crazy to me.
yeah, because like I said, I watched the Hard Knocks and I had this conversation with Shane. I watched Hard Knocks when they did the
Right.
offseason last year. And all I can picture, okay, all these coaches and these front office guys, they're sitting there in the office and they're about to go into the draft or training camp. And they look at that roster and they go, boys, we did it. Look at this group right here. We got so much talent. We're going to dominate everyone. Look at this roster. Top to bottom, we're stacked. This is what we're rolling with. If anyone who didn't speak up and was okay with that roster going into the season, you should be fired. Because that roster was a nightmare. They were lacking up front. They had no care about letting Saquon Barkley go. It's
Right.
like, yeah, just let him go. And the phone call is what irritated me the most when they aired the phone call of Joe Shane talking to Saquon. He's saying, "Hey, we're going to let you hit the free agent market, and if you get an offer, let us know." And Saquon's like, "Yeah, whatever." I'm like, this guy was your entire offense for years. He put 6 years into this organization. And that's your pitch, that's your phone call. It's like, oh, just hit free agency and we'll see what happens. I'll just suck my balls. How about that? So
Yeah.
I was disgusted, and it was embarrassing that they did that. And Saquon's having an FU year to everyone, especially with the ass hurdle. I mean, who does that? So you let the
Incredible.
guy go and you replace him with, it's like replacing a Mercedes with the the station wagon they used in National Lampoon's Vacation.
It's
I thought that
absurd.
was a funny reference. No,
A Mercedes with say that one again. That one went over my head.
you don't listen to anything I say. I'm starting to realize that you're very good at tuning me out.
I'm listening to you. I
No,
just missed it.
The National Lampoon's. Remember, just regular Vacation.
Yeah,
Where they go to Wally World.
yeah.
So say it's like replacing a Mercedes, Saquon Barkley, with the station wagon from National Lampoon's Vacation.
Yeah.
Like you got the station wagon that's going to Wally World. That's what you picked
four
up.
wheels that are wobbling like this. The best part is when they go through. The best part is when they go through St. Louis.
Yeah, they go to the ghetto in St. Louis.
Yep.
And they get the rim stolen.
Yeah, yep.
That was, oh my God, that was one of my favorites. It was by far one of my favorite movies ever.
Phenomenally.
Chevy Chase.
John Candy's the guy in Wally World.
John Candy pulls the gun on John Candy. He pulls the BB gun on John Candy. And I had talked to Maria, and how about them getting the win? Gino, the all-time winningest coach. They had a nice celebration for him, well deserved, and they looked so much better as a team. I mean they look better than the men do, I think, right now with the freshman Sarah Strong. She's unbelievable. I mean,
I read that she's her father and mother met when they were both playing over in Europe, and they both were European. Well, the mother was a WNBA player.
Oh, okay.
And then played over in Europe in the off season, I think, and then the father and he played over in Europe as well. I think the father played at NC State. I can't remember where the
mother. Okay. So that's why, because she's 6'5", and
wow. I thought she was 6'3". Okay, she's 6'5".
She's 6'5", but she has such an outside game, which I never expected. Like, she can shoot. She was hitting threes left and right against Fairleigh Dickinson the other night. So I was blown away by her performance. It was very, very impressive with how she did. And they just, I mean, women's basketball as a whole is more of a European style with the passing, the cutting, right, in the shooting. It doesn't rely on the one-on-one matchups all the time. But you can see when Paige comes in, and they try to limit Paige's her minutes, obviously, for injury concerns. But when she'll get them a lead, and then Gino will take her out, and then the lead will dissipate, and then he'll have to put her back in, and then it was just a great game. Like, everyone got involved. The Chen girl, the point guard, she's amazing. They have so much talent, and I mean, I don't know if they're the best team in the country, but I mean, they're 2 for a reason, and I think they easily could be number 1. But it was so. Oh, he did come on. I got a guest. My guest showed up.
Oh, we have a guest. All right, great.
He made it.
Is it showing sideways right now?
He made it. Look who I got for you, Dave.
Look at that. There we go.
The Husky.
I only bring the best on.
That's right. You bring the best on.
Andre Dixon. Andre Dixon. Welcome to Husky Huddle. Look, he's got his jersey up like me.
Oh, he does. He does. There you go.
Bleed blue, baby.
Bleed blue, baby. That's my boy. I love it. I love it. Dave, I was telling you, when I interviewed Andre, he showed
Right.
me the facility he has in Connecticut. He has a 5,000 square foot indoor training facility.
Oh wow.
It is unbelievable. Unbelievable. He's got turf and he trains girls and boys, and he just does remarkable, remarkable work. And I couldn't believe um, the facility and how nice it was. Like, it's not one of those older buildings that looks decrepit. Like, this is top of the line shit.
Where is it? Is it near Hartford?
It's
in
Hartford, right?
Hartford.
It's
Yeah.
in.
It's
Oh,
in
it's in
Hartford,
Hartford.
right? Yeah, right off of 91. Yeah, right off the
Oh
highway.
wow. Okay. Very
Yeah.
cool. Very cool. How long
Yeah,
have you been doing
that's
the
why.
training?
I mean, since 2011, man. So I've
Wow,
sent many
okay.
kids to college. I got kids on full scholarship. We transform lives. We work with adults also. So, I
Yeah,
also
sure.
host yoga classes and give people opportunities to start their own business here and have a platform where they can, service other people and help out also. So it's cool, man.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's
and I think he's doing that camp I was telling you about with Matt Lawrence and Julius. April, the one in April. I think you mentioned you were going to be there for that, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna help them out. We
Yeah.
also have a coat drive coming up also.
Oh,
With 32 Sports too. I can get that flyer over to you also. Yeah. And
it's a coat drive.
yeah, you're gonna be giving out
Okay.
coats and stuff like that right here in Hartford, right here in
Oh,
the middle of the
beautiful.
city. So, just trying to give back to the needy, man. Play our part a little bit.
So I feel so bad because I was at the game that Andre was, was being honored or whatnot, and I didn't get a chance to meet him or talk to him. And I was so disappointed because he was one of my favorite running backs. Um, because of you remember the Notre Dame game,
Yes.
double overtime. Andre scores the winning touchdown. Fucking kicks the ball he just fucking, you kicked it right or you
I
threw it.
threw I tossed
You
it in the
tossed it. Yeah,
stands,
you
man.
fucking threw it. I loved it.
I'm
I
still
loved
mad
it.
at that shit though, man. That's supposed to be when I show
I
my
know.
son, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
In the midst of the game, no, in the mix of the game, you just,
You get too
Yeah.
excited.
energy running. I chucked the shit and I said, God, like,
I
well,
need that fallback. I need that fallback.
that
It
probably
was
was in the
so
12th row
great.
by then, though.
Yeah.
It was so great. He shoved it right up their ass. And it was always good because it was Notre Dame and it was such a tough year. And
Jasper.
because of Jasper, I was just thrilled that we kicked their ass and we did it our way. But Andre, you've been following the team as well. I know you go to games and you've seen everything. And we've been, previewing the Syracuse game. We've been talking about it over the bye week, and now it's just a day away. I was looking at the stats. Syracuse throws the ball all around the yard. I mean, their quarterback, Kyle McCord, has over 3,000 yards passing.
Mhm.
Joe Figiano and Nick Evers have a combined, they don't even combine for 2,000 yards passing. But Joe has 13 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So my question to you would be Nick Evers, if he's healthy, do you start him this game or do you go with the hot hand do you go with Joe?
That's a very hard question, brother. One, if you pay him, you play him. That other guy is NIL guy, winning guy.
He is.
He showed flashes. We've been waiting for his big game, his big breakout game, and
I agree.
he's like 5 interceptions and 5 touchdowns or something like that.
Exactly. Yep.
You just waiting for Evers to just explode, and it just
That's what I
hasn't
kept saying.
happened yet. And then
Yeah.
how slow the offense was last game was atrocious, man. Like in the first half,
half.
and then the golden boy Fagnano comes in. He was probably only what 5 for 12 or something like that. But two
Yeah, he
touchdowns,
was.
man. You just saw the spark, the energy, like it was different, man. So I think that's a tough question, and I'm gonna leave that one up to Jim Moore to make that decision. But man, when Fagnano, if I'm saying his name correctly, man, when that
Yeah,
dude came in, if you
yeah,
just
you're
saw
saying
the
so.
energy, the spark, just how alive, the guy's routes was crisper, like it was a lot going on, like when he came in the game. So that's a really tough spot to be in. But I like Evers when he like get him breaking the pocket, get him using his legs, and I'm just waiting for that. And it just hasn't happened yet, man. He shows flashes, but that complete game I haven't seen yet, man. So it's
Yeah,
a tough one.
I felt the same way. Like I thought, okay, it's going to be Georgia State. Okay, it's going to be UAB. There's not going to be the win that they had at Georgia State. Um, it's going to be his coming out party where he throws for like 300 yards and 5 touchdowns,
Mm-hmm.
and it just hasn't happened. And you saw when Joe went in there, just like you said, the receivers they get excited because they know they're going to get the ball thrown to them,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
right? Right. I
Exactly.
mean, they had such a different energy when he came in the game, and it was great to see. And this is a guy. I mean, he brought him back from seven. It was 17-3 or 24-10. It was something like they were down a lot, and he
Yeah.
brought them. They ended up winning 31-23. So for Joe to come in and do that, I mean, he's played much better when he has been coming off the bench. He has not as been as good as a starter. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the only concern that I kind of had with him. But otherwise, um, I think they got to run the ball a little bit more downhill, which Dave and I have talked about. They really like I've never I coached in college, Dave coached, and you've obviously played. I've never seen an offense that kind of had their base run play be outside zone. And that's what it kind of seems like what we run, like our base is outside zone. We like to go with 20 personnel with two tailbacks and two receivers, and we run outside zone. And I don't like it out of the gun because, as Dave knows, I've said it a million times, the running back has to turn perpendicular to get the handoff, and you run so flat, and you're already deep that you got to stick a foot and get north. You
Mm-hmm.
rarely ever get the edge, so that's what I don't like. And when they do read it with Nick, he doesn't get a ton when he pulls it. They don't seem to run RPOs off the outside zone. I liked it better when they got into the pistol and then they really ran north and south and got after people. But Andre, like when I've watched them, I don't see any power. I don't see
That's
any counter.
that's what I
I
was
see
about to
all
say.
zone stuff.
The power has been our bread and butter for forever.
Yeah.
Punch him in the mouth. If you can't stop it, it's going to be a long day, buddy. And that opened up the pass for guys like Marcus Easley, the play action, because now you
Yeah.
got the linebacker sucking down and all, you know what I mean? The running game opened up a lot of stuff for us. And if you can't get the run game going and your base play is outside zone, like that's not a way to get the game
Yeah.
going. That's not a way to move the sticks. So I think we got to get more ISO, more power, more even inside zone, but more things to get the offense moving, move the sticks a little bit that open up
Yeah.
so it can open up the pass some more.
Yeah. Get it downhill. Dave, I mean, would you agree their base outside run play or their base run play overall is outside zone?
Well, yeah, that's one of the main run plays.
Yeah.
The issue is that like there's a shift in what the defenses are doing now. The defenses now are stacked with
They're playing man.
athletic
Yeah.
players that can run, right? Means they're probably a little lighter, all right, in general. I mean, I'm generalizing, but in general, they're probably a little lighter, and they're less equipped to be able to handle downhill running. So, like, you see what the Lions are doing. You see it with what Georgia's done. You see it with what Michigan's done. There's been such a trend because of it started with the passing game, right? People were killing everybody, throwing the ball over the field, dual threat quarterbacks, and people are like, hey, we got we got to get more athletes on the defensive field that can run. Less 4-3 defenses with 3 real linebackers, one in the middle with a neck roll, right? Like less of those guys and more guys that can actually play in space. So as that happened, they are more equipped to have a chance against the spread offenses, against an outside zone game, tackling space, right? But they're less equipped to handle the downhill run. And I think that's, a thing that UConn can really take advantage of. And I think that might be part of why they may be able to do better with Fagano, because Evers is, I've said this a couple of times. He's a pretty good runner. He's an okay passer. Like, he's not an elite runner. He's not an elite. Like, he's in that kind of strange in between world, right? Where like you were saying, Andre, he was a guy that you keep looking for that explosion to happen, and it just kind of like there's a couple times you're like, oh, maybe, and it just never happened. Kind of tells me one of two things: either one, he really has to still develop. That could be the case. He hasn't played that much until this year, or two, like maybe he's just not that elite level fast to be that kind of dual threat quarterback. And I don't really, I don't know what the coaches would know what the answer is better than I would, but that's what it looks like from the outside looking in. Fagano is really more like, why do receivers, I think, in the running backs get excited when they go in? They know that they're going to have opportunities to touch the ball more, right? And I think that becomes a thing when you have if the quarterback is not an elite runner in the dual threat offense, the receivers and running backs are not going to be super thrilled. But when you get a situation, because they think to themselves, well, if I'm a better runner than he is, why is he getting as many touches as I am? And correct me if I'm wrong, Andre. I'm an old running back from a long time ago, but that's kind of the thought process, right? Why would we waste touches? I think about it in wasting touches, right? In a game, you only have so many touches that can go around in a game, and you don't want to waste touches, right? At least too much, right? So I think that excitement comes in now. Receivers and running backs start to feel like, okay, there's going to be some more opportunities possibly coming my way. And that's why they're juiced. I mean, that to me is why they start to get like that level of juice to them. And I don't think it really has anything to do with what like Evers is really doing or not doing. It's that, hey, listen, I think maybe we don't coach that style that well. Could be simple. Like you kind of, like you said, that's always been their bread and butter. Power run game, okay, play action. A stretch to field receivers, right, and those kind of things. And you guys have played at Retro. I played in Memorial Stadium, where there wasn't any wind because the stadium wasn't high enough to generate wind. As far as the stand. But you Retro, obviously that wind blows, right? And you talk about that a lot, Steve. And as that circulates, like.
It's not conducive to the spread.
It requires a guy to drive the ball through it. You know what I mean? And the run game helps you where maybe a throw that isn't perfect, you get guys a little more wide open because you got that play action game going. So it's really just like, I feel like it's almost like Evers is kind of like a square peg being put into a round hole, possibly. They paid for him, right? He's the guy they paid for. We want to make this work. And it could just be that like it doesn't really fit with what their personnel is as well, right? And Joe might fit more with what their personnel is and what his skill set is. And I think that's what you're seeing. Now, it's going to be harder for Joe when he now is the guy coming in. They plan for him. That's going to be a little harder than coming in as the relief pitcher. When you come in as the relief pitcher, everybody's been planning for this guy. He's a dual threat, and I'm coming in, I have nothing to lose. It's a little different when you go in as a starter and everything's shouldered on you. So I think we'll find that out if he's able to really handle that. And I think we'll know a lot more probably whatever is going to be able to be doing going in the future based off of what happens in this game.
I like it. You also have to look at when started. I know the competition wasn't all that good, but he had some pretty good games when he started too, and then he had some up and down games too. Well, he started Temple also, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we see him coming off the bench. Is he a six-man guy like the NBA? Like, is he an off-the-bench guy that comes in and heats things up for us? Like, because in his starts versus the competition, yeah, he did good, but that wasn't Syracuse.
Correct.
So I mean, that's where if you're a coach, you got to weigh it out properly, man, because it's really two sides to this thing. So I'm excited to see who starts and also what happens.
Yeah, you're right, because he played against Merrimack, obviously, who's not very good. He played against Florida Atlantic, who wasn't very good. And he played against Buffalo and Temple. Those were his 4 starts. Temple, he was not. He was awful. But the other ones, he was very good.
Okay.
And his numbers are, even in his limited opportunity, his numbers are higher than Nick, who has more starts and overall more playing time. If you use Joe, your running game, the read part is going to probably have to be out of it. He's not a great runner. So you're going to have to keep a tight end backside to block everyone. You're going to have to try to run nakeds and boots to hold the backside end to keep the flow. You're going to have to like fake the jet sweep to hold the backside end, something to keep the backside pursuit. But what I always loved, Andre, it was Georgia State, and then it was UAB. They came out in the second half, and we are a second half team, which is amazing to me. Like, we make good adjustments. We are a second half team, no matter what the score is. And we came out in the pistol, and we ran inside zone. We ran downhill, north and south. And you got, like I call them, earth, wind, and fire with Darrell, Cam, and Mel. They can do it all, and they get downhill fast. Like, they hit that hole. The line and zone blocking is completely different, because you just got to get a body on a body. You can't get penetration. You got to cover up the second level linebacker from getting to the line. I think our offense up front, we're okay. We're getting one of the guards back. So we'll have pretty much the starting unit. I think both tackles have been good. We haven't given up a lot of sacks on the year, but the passing game with Skylar Bell and TJ Sheffield, when your 2 leading receivers both have 38 and 36 receptions, that's what concerns me. And Syracuse has their top receiver has 71 catches, 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns. They have 3 other receivers that have over 50 receptions. And that's what, like, I don't understand why we can't have something like that, and why our passing game is so limited as it is. But I think Joe definitely will give us the advantage in the play action game. Defensively, do you think that we match up with them with the 3-3-5, with some of the exotic looks and the pressure that we bring?
I definitely think that if we play our game, man, and I think that we'd be all right with it being the 3-3-5 and it being more DBs out there and they passing. We definitely got advantage in that sense. But I'm just saying, man, we got to play our game. It's going to be a tough one. If you go back to when I played, that was, we played. We were in the same conference. We played those guys every year.
We're 6 and
So
6 against them. Yeah.
exactly. What I mean, I had a couple big plays against Syracuse. So
Andre, you had big plays against everyone. You were
I ain't want to brag, brother.
were you the Papa John's Bowl MVP or player of the game? Yeah.
Yeah. So
I remember
I made a
that.
couple plays, but I think
Yeah,
that
he
we
made a
definitely,
few.
we'll be all right, man. We just got to play our game, man. We got to go down there and be dogs for real, man. That's what it's gonna come down to. No matter
Yeah.
what quarterback is in there, man. We got to really play balls to the wall, man. Like this is a huge game. I don't
It
think they
is
notice
huge.
how big this game. This is a really big game, and making a statement to get into a conference too. If you go there, you go beat up on an SEC team that you were 500 against, every time, you know what I'm saying? Over the years, I
Yeah.
think that makes a crazy statement. And Syracuse is having a good season. They got the same record as us, right? What they 7-3?
3. Yeah.
Come on, this is a huge game right here. This makes a statement, and all this does, if we get the win, and when we get the win, is boost our bowl. Get us
Yeah.
in a bigger bowl game,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah,
I
that'd
want
be
to go to
cool.
Florida.
So I think we'd be all right, but we got to bring the dogs out, man. We got to play.
I want to go to Florida. I want to go out west.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
Somewhere
going to the
warm,
bowl.
really warm.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great statement you made about how big a game it is, because both teams are 7-3, and the conference thing that you made that's a great point. Like, I feel like a lot of eyes, now that we started winning games, are on whether they think we can do it if we go to like a bigger conference, and will we continue to grow as a program if we do that? Because obviously the basketball side is already taken care of, right? So if they feel that we could do it in football, like I don't see why ACC or Big 12 wouldn't take us in. Like if we pull this game out, I mean, I think it sounds crazy, but the way that things are going conference wise, like a game like that, a win like that for us, just like people were watching us at the beginning when we had Maryland crushed us, right? Like Big 12 was looking at us at that point, and I'm not saying that swayed the vote one way or not. I have no idea because I don't know behind the scenes. But they're still looking to Big 12. I mean, who knows what's going to happen with the ACC, with Clemson and Florida State? Like, they may be going to the SEC, and if that happens, now you got 2 slots there in the ACC that'll be open. The Big 12 is trying to compete with the SEC and the Big 10. So, I think that it's hard to say that you make the biggest game of our
it would be the only win against a winning team this year.
Oh, it would be. I didn't know that. Yeah. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be if we beat Syracuse. Okay. It will be our only victory against a winning program. Yeah. I think Duke obviously has turned out to be okay. I don't know what Wake ended up, how they're doing.
I think they're like 500. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Merrimack or wins against FAU, Buffalo. Let me see how Buffalo is. Buffalo, yeah, they're still struggling.
What about Maryland?
Well, actually, Buffalo's 3-2 total. Maryland
has a losing record, I think. Maryland has a losing record because they lost to Rutgers, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago. They started out good.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Yeah, Maryland's 4-6. Buffalo was 3. Buffalo may have gotten better. Let me double check them. But I know Temple isn't.
Temple definitely no.
No way.
No. Buffalo. Oh, Buffalo 7-4. Okay, so you do have a win against the team.
There we go.
I mean, that's good. That's a start.
Where'd you get those facts from, Steve?
I'm looking on ESPN.
Where did you get those facts from?
You're like Joe D. You're my fact checker. You're my fact checker.
So,
Rice
Wake Forest
wasn't
has a
good.
losing record, I believe. Also, Duke has a winning record. Wake Forest has a losing record, I believe.
Yeah, Duke
And
Duke is very good. Wake is not. Rice is not. Georgia State is not. Georgia State was good last year, but
right.
Syracuse and UMass, we got 2 games left. I mean, we're gonna at least have 8 wins. So if we get to 9, we go 9-3. I think that sends a message. And next year, there's only 2 independents. It's only going to be us and Notre Dame. UMass is going back to the MAC. So the pressure is going to be on us for sure to get into a conference. And financially is the biggest issue because now, Andre, we were talking about it. Now these schools have television money to give. They can give up to $20 million, and allegedly $15 million is going to be allocated to football and basketball, and then the other 5 will go to the other sports. And then on top of that, you have NIL money. So
plus that money goes to the players, right? Doesn't
that's what I'm saying.
Goes directly to the players. Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah, they're going to have $15 million to pay players, and then they're going to have NIL on top of it. So I think you said it was Ohio State. They raised $30 million in NIL. So $50 million.
Colorado too. Big numbers.
Colorado, yes, right.
Big numbers.
Yeah,
right.
Colorado just got Julian Lewis, whose father, his father was originally at Uconn when I was there. His father's a lineman. He's from New Jersey originally. He's now in Georgia.
Oh, that's right. You were telling me about him.
Yep. So his father was at Uconn, I think, for a year, and then transferred. I don't know where he went to, but he played somewhere else, like D2 or something. But his father was originally at Uconn. Yeah, TC Lewis, man. TC Lewis.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's his father's name. Yep. Because TC Lewis's father was a legendary coach in New Jersey. Right. And then TC originally went to Uconn. He was a lineman. And then I don't know what happened, but he left. And then now he lives in Georgia. And he's the father of Julian Lewis. So his father, and this is not to get sidetracked, but I know you work with a lot of kids. His father, because I'm friends with him on Facebook and I've talked to him over the years, what he did with his son from the time he was like in like 5th grade to get him to where he is now, it's like it's almost like a story of almost doing everything basically correctly and everything falling into place and working out as it could be. Like the teams he would pick, like youth wise, for him to play with. And then when he got to like 7th grade, the high school he picked, which was like, it wasn't a powerhouse program in the Atlanta area at the time. It was a good program, but he picked them because he liked the coach and what he ran offensively. And that all worked out. Like he started basically right away. I think I want to say he started as a freshman, and he was a reclass originally. But then when he became, I think he's the number 2 player in the country. When he became like a top player, he then moved him back to his class. So he's now graduating with his original grade.
Yeah.
Right? So he reclassed him in like 8th grade or 7th. I can't remember if it was 7th or 8th grade. But then as he went through high school and he became this big prospect, then I think it was last year, he pushed him forward to his original class. Yeah, so he's graduating with his original grade. What?
Yeah.
You rarely see that where they go forward.
What he did, now obviously it doesn't always work that way. Obviously his son is an elite player, right? But it's interesting because what he did are like things like, if you could do this in a perfect world and would work out, and like it's almost what you would want to do if you knew it was going to work out, but people don't know that it's going to work out. You know what I mean? But he did it. Like, he did all these steps that like you would take if you like knew for sure it would work out, but it actually did work out.
That's amazing. I love those types of
It's a
stories.
really amazing. It really is amazing.
Now, Andre, you have it's dynamic performance. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, dynamic human performance.
Dynamic human performance. And you have sent kids everywhere, right? You've gotten kids on scholarship. You've trained them for several years. They've been with you. And then you said they come home and work out with you too, right?
Yeah, they come home and work out over break. I have kids at Coastal Carolina, a pitcher at Duke, a lacrosse player going to LIU. I got a basketball player right now, female basketball player going full ride to Maine. I help guys get into prep schools. I had 2-time Super Bowl champion Jonathan Casillas training at my gym, like all that stuff. All those guys that went to the NFL from Uconn stopped by. Kendall Reyes, Matthew Olivier, Marcus E. I mean, you name it. So it's good to be still in Connecticut and be a New Jersey guy, and still, be able to help people get placement and use some of my knowledge just to give back, man. I didn't have that person like me that knew the steps and stages on how to get to the next level and what I have to do to get there. So, man, it's fun, man.
Do you are you involved, or do you advise at all with any of the NIL stuff?
Nah, to me, for real, it's kind of very new to the people around here too. It's still kind of new and trying to figure out how to get sponsorships and other things. And then also, I don't want it to be a conflict of interest with me,
Right.
so I try to just kind of give advice, but that you gotta watch how you play out here too. Especially I help, be up at UConn sometimes. I don't want them to start thinking, Andre, you gotta perk. And Andre send guys to school, you come work. No, it doesn't work that way, guys.
No, it doesn't work that way.
So I just gotta be safe and make sure I do stuff the right way.
Yeah. And
Andre, I'm
I
curious,
think
when you went, because I'm from New Jersey, I live in Lincroft, which is right next to Red Bank. But I'm from originally Bergen County. So I'm curious, when you were at New Brunswick, was Dwayne Jarrett there before you, or you guys there at the same? You went to New Brunswick High School, right?
Same time, man.
Same time.
Yeah, we call him D1 Wayne, man. That dude had 60 full scholarships. He was the number 2 receiver in the country behind Megatron. Megatron was I'm talking about, Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Was the number 1. He went to Georgia Tech. The number 2 receiver in the country was on my high school team, Dwayne Jarrett. He went to USC. So me being a younger guy, I'm watching Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, Lindell White, Steve Smith, and my former teammate, Dwayne Jarrett. After that, man, I knew I can go play college ball after watching that guy. Same guy in the locker room, same guy I played against, So, yeah, we had to, man, we were loaded.
Yeah.
It was a top program, right? New Brunswick?
Yeah, 33-3, man, my high school career.
Yes.
Who was the coach at New Brunswick when you were there?
John Quinn, man. John Quinn is he's where was he at before that? But he bounced around and won state championships at about 6 different schools, man. That dude is a legend back there. So, yeah, after we were done, he won 2 more at my high school and then went to another school and just kept winning, man. That dude knows his stuff. Old school wing T offense, baby.
They haven't been the same since he left, since all you guys were, gone. They haven't been the same program. I think last year they were better. They were better last year, the last couple of years. But for a long time, like once he was no longer there, it kind of went like a little bit downhill. But I did see that like the last year or two they were better. But
it hasn't been the same. You know how they have that guy that does everything. He made sure it was study hall going on for the guys. He made sure it was a lifting program. We had an academic advisor, Lori Lazovic, who would make sure guys made clearinghouse. She would set up meetings for us to, meet with teachers and build, a better rapport with the teacher one-on-one. Like, it was such a crazy system that once I got to UConn, I was already well prepared for college, man. It was crazy.
That's awesome. That's a great story.
It was a great story. It was a great story. And I was so excited to have him on because that Notre Dame game was my most favorite memory of all from UConn, watching them. when they went in there and just shocked the hell out of Notre Dame, and they were a huge underdog, and Charlie Weiss was just taking them easy, and they went in and just shoved it up their ass, and I loved it.
Yeah,
Steve,
I hate
you know what UConn Mora needs is Andre to go up there and whisper in his ear, "You need some more Jersey players." You know what I mean? You need some more
yeah.
Jersey guys. Like, he's got to go in there. He just has to go up there 15, 20 minutes, sit down and just say, "Hey, listen, you need to go down there because there's a lot of
Get
guys
them
down there."
boys. They know how to
Yeah.
play ball. You're
We
absolutely
got
right. Andre, would you ever coach? Would you ever get into coaching, or you're happy on the training side?
I would definitely get into coaching. I want to get into coaching eventually.
Oh,
My
good.
son is 4 years old, man,
Oh,
and right
right.
now it's that, that time and building that foundation with him, man. I just want to give him something that I didn't have, which is a father in house.
Yeah.
And coaching, when you're coaching, it's from 5 a.m. when they're
Yeah.
sleeping till you get home at 9 p.m. and they're sleeping. So,
Right.
so
You're
I
absolutely
like being
right.
able to make my own schedule, schedule and book a lot of family time, build up a routine, brushing his teeth and getting them dressed for school. We have our own little bond that we do in the morning before school. It's stuff like that
That's good for
that's
you,
way
man.
more important than coaching right now. I got my whole life to coach, man. I can coach when I'm 98,
Yeah.
but right now building that foundation for my son is more important than the game.
Yeah. Dave coached his Pop Warner team, or not Pop Warner, youth team. His
My son's
9-year-old son was a star quarterback on the 9-year-old team.
I like it.
Yeah, Andre, is funny because I did some. I coached high school football for 20 years, and in 2020 when COVID happened, I was still the head coach. I was head coach at Red Bank, and there was like just a lot of craziness going on, and me and the administration disagreed on how to do things. And when I stepped away, I was like, you know what? Just my son was 5. I'm like, you know what? This is a perfect time to try to really help him and start working with him. Cause I really, at that point, like most of the time we just kind of played and, you know what I mean? And have fun. But I remember, this is what I remember. This is what like kind of solidified it for me. Like maybe one day I'll get back into coaching, at the high school level or above. But what solidified for me was when I was coaching, and this was during like COVID, my son was playing like in this soccer, like kids soccer league or whatever. And I would miss it half the time. You know what I mean? Because on Saturday after the game, I was like, my mind as a coach is like, I got to make sure I have film broken down. I got to make sure I have put the guys through a workout. I got to make sure we review film with them. And his games would be in the morning on Saturdays. And I might get there. I had no idea what he was doing good. And I remember I was showing up and he was on the side crying sometimes. Like he didn't he wasn't, it turns out he really didn't like soccer, but I didn't know, I had no idea what was going on. You know what I mean? So I was like, I don't even know what he really likes and what he doesn't like other than when we might play it in the, downstairs in the basement. So I was like, it's perfect time and I'm not going back. So far it's worked out great. So I coach his youth football team, which is fun, which is a ton of fun. It can be stressful, but it's a ton of fun. It's still a ton of fun, but it's well worth it. I love to hear what you're doing because that was a hard decision for me, and but it's turned out so far to really be the right decision. Now I'm helping him out in football and basketball and baseball and track, and
I love it.
just have just trying to be involved and helping him. Sometimes I'm coaching it. Sometimes I'm dad after the game, and but I think it's been a real big help, and and he knows that he could talk to me about stuff with respect to sports. But before it was just like he was coach was gone. He was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And Andre, you're looking for another facility too, right? Weren't you trying to look for a different facility?
Yeah. Right now, you got to blow the roof off your own one right now. So right now, I'm just building, not so much just looking for the next facility, but I am planning for the future, if you know what I'm saying. But right now, you gotta handle at home and make sure I really pack this place out first because
Yeah.
people go and jump and get a bigger overhead without the business. You're just asking to drown, you know. So let's
Yeah.
go ahead and
Right.
build this up a little bit more. Get a few more people in here helping and training, and everything will happen in due time. So one day at a time.
No, but congratulations on everything you're doing. And he showed me the facility. It's amazing. And any kid who wants to get better should go there. And he works with all ages, boys and girls, which I think is great too.
Oh
Him
yeah.
and Matt Lawrence are just phenomenal with what they're doing and bringing to the community of Connecticut, which, football was never a priority. Training, not as much a priority, and now they're
Exactly.
places to go. So we'll end with our predictions of the week. We are minus 10.5 against Syracuse at Syracuse, and I will give Andre the first, put him on the spot first for a little bit of a prediction for the Syracuse game. What do you see? Score wise.
UConn covers. I got UConn winning by 3, baby. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Coach Schumann?
I think it's going to be 21-20 Connecticut. 21-20. I think it's going to go right
I
down
like
to
it.
the wire, right
You
down
think
to
it'll
the
be
end.
that low scoring?
I think if for UConn to win the game, we got to keep the score down. So if I'm going to predict UConn, just because the quarterback Syracuse has is great, and he could throw it all over the yard. And if it gets into like a shootout,
They won't.
I'm worried about a shootout. I think if we could control the ball and run the ball and eat up some clock and play great defense, that's we could win. I think a tight game, because I think Syracuse could have a hard time with that. They want to go fast. Like they want to go fast. They want to throw the ball. If we can cause them some trouble, that's the key.
I agree. If they were, have a game plan like Pitt and can disguise some of the pressures and rattle McCord, he makes mistakes. I mean, he has 12 interceptions on the year.
Yeah.
I definitely think they can get turnovers. If they do that, then, it depends on the starting quarterback in my mind. I think if Joe plays, they will win. I think they win. I had it, I think 30-24 or 35-24. If Evers plays, I think it'll be more of an uphill battle, and I could see them losing possibly like 30-10. So that's kind of how I see it. That's what I'll go with. But I technically am not allowed to make two predictions, but I make the predictions. So.
Well, I think Fagano's going to start. So
I think he is too. I think
make us all feel good, Steven, and go with your original prediction.
Yeah. Hey, I do. I think 35-24. I think Joe listen, they're going to take him lightly. If Joe plays, everyone's adopted the Temple model where they play quarters or man, and they play everyone at like 8 yards. So everyone's tight. Skylar Bell, TJ Sheffield, Gathings, the tight end, they can get behind people. So I could see them lighting it up if they play that defense against Joe, because Joe can throw the ball. So absolutely, I think they could score 35. And if the defense does what, Coach Brock has been incredible, if he disguises the coverages and the blitzes, rattles McCord, gets the turnovers, that we win the turnover battle, I definitely think we win 35-21. So, but Andre Dixon from Dynamic Human Performance in Connecticut, thank you so much for joining us. I've been trying to get him on, and he was able to make time for us today. I appreciate it. I won't harass you anymore, I promise.
No problem, man.
Yeah,
Hey, I
I
had a
know.
blast on here, man. This has been great. If you need me again, brother, just I'll
I
make it
know. I
happen,
wrecked
man.
Andre.
No problem.
And I want to let you know, Dave, that my guy from Procyon, Sean Rabinowitz,
Yeah.
they found a match for his son.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
Oh, that's
fantastic.
cool.
That was
That's
the best
amazing.
news I got all day. Yeah, he texted me. So happy for him.
That's
So
great.
happy for him. Because I mean, I didn't realize how difficult it was. Like, it's not like, a blood match. Like a bone marrow match is like a 1 in like 100 and something thousand to
Wow.
make
Crazy.
it work. Like the odds are so stacked. So he got it. He's going to get the treatment, and he'll be good to go. So we're thrilled about that.
That's
So
amazing.
for the man himself, Andre Dixon, former Uconn running back, beat the shit out of Notre Dame, Papa John's Bowl, player of the game, and the coach, Dave Schumann. Go to his YouTube channel, YouTube, Coach Schumann Sports and Entertainment. Smash that subscribe button. All right, we just passed 1 million viewers, and we're going to keep growing. We're going to keep growing. I'm Steve Cully, the best podcast host in the universe. And remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges. Throw them back at life.